Debbie Gibson is a 17-year-old pop phenomenon from Long Island, New York. Her debut album, Out of the Blue, was released last year when Debbie was only 16 years old. Written, sung, and partly co-produced by Debbie, the album has sold almost 2 million copies and has yielded 3 top 10 hit singles. Debbie is currently writing and producing her second album and has just finished making her 4th music video. And she's joining us today together with her mom, Diane. Please welcome them. Hi. Hi. It's good to see you again. Come on over. Sit right here. Hi, Diane. I'm fine. You know, in reading a little bit more about Debbie since I saw you last, I didn't realize that you asked for your first guitar. Is this true at age 2?
Yeah,
absolutely. The first guitar at 2 years old? All right. Then where did it go to? How did the music and the songwriting kind of develop from that?
Well, let's see. I didn't really stick with the guitar, but my parents bought a piano. It was actually the first piece of furniture in our house, before a couch.
Before anything.
And I began playing and singing by ear, just kind of imitating what I heard on the radio. And
so if it was the first piece of furniture, it sounds to me, Diane, like you saw something there, and you started nurturing it.
Well, when we moved into the house, the kids always had a keen sense for music. You know, they would imitate whatever they had heard on the radio, especially Deborah. You know, she would hear a song and run to the piano and imitate it exactly. You know, you'd hear everything.
She'd hear it on the radio, and at like 4 or 5 years old, she would sit down and start playing it.
She would sit there and she would listen, you know, and really, you'd see her tune into it and go to the piano right away and play it, and it would be perfect. And she did that constantly, you know, and then she would start to play and sing, and it grew and grew.
At what point was it? I know at some point you found out she had perfect pitch. How did you find that out?
it was probably from that, you know, because I play the songs in the same key and stuff like that.
It started you into lessons, right?
Well, let's see, I wrote a song when I was 5, when I was in kindergarten. It was called Make Sure You Know Your Classroom. I don't know, maybe I had some hidden fears about starting school.
Do you remember any of it? Any lines?
Oh, I'm not going to sing it now.
No. Your 5-year-old song. It may be published one day.
One day. We'll put it on a...
She entertained the kindergarten set with it.
My grandfather told me a story the other day, actually, that he remembers coming into my classroom, bringing me my lunch, and because I had forgotten it, and the teacher wasn't in the room, and I was conducting a sing-along with the kids.
Was she always the hammiest one in the house, the hammiest one in the class? You knew this was fait accompli. I should say, you've talked about your other children. There are 4 Gibson girls, right?
Right.
They've really been supportive and been involved in your career, haven't they?
Yep, they have. Yeah, Karen, for a while, did the sound engineering for me when I performed. Now she's marrying Bill soon. So
you lost a sound engineer.
She's now in music publishing, though. You know, she's really into the business end of music. And my sisters all play classical piano, though.
And Michelle even worked on some of your stage clothes, right?
Yes, she makes a lot of the clothes that I perform in. And Denise, basically, she'll be coming on the summer tour. You know, it's kind of like the teen tour we never got to go on.
Now, but you actually built, from what I've been told, a sound studio in the garage.
Right.
At what age was Debbie?
Well, we started putting it together when she was about 13 and a half, I would say. And we decided, because she would line up tape recorders on the ironing board, which was hysterical.
All right, embarrass me now.
Okay, 4 of them. And she would try multi-track recording. She knew what she wanted to achieve, but she didn't have the tools to do it.
I didn't have the right equipment, you know.
Well, listen, it's not every set of parents that will build you a sound stage, though, in your garage. I would say that's a supreme example of nurturing a young child's talent.
Yeah. My parents never pushed us, though. It was kind of like, whatever we wanted to do, they'd support that 100%, because, you know, you see a lot of kids who are forced to take piano lessons or whatever, and they kind of rebel against that. And I think that if you do what you really want to do, you'd be much better off.
So your advice out there to parents would be to don't push, but
encourage. But encourage. You know, if you see a child with a particular gift, you know, don't ignore it. I mean, I've seen a lot of parents ignore kids with talent, and it's a shame, because if you give a child that's particularly gifted a little bit of encouragement and just a few tools to work with, they'll show you if they're going to do it or not. You know, they'll let you know.
I can't tell you how many young people I've heard say, I want to be a star. You know, I'm sure you hear it too, right?
Yeah.
What do you tell those kids that say, I want to be a star like you?
Well, I would say, you know, I wouldn't really try to imitate anybody. You know, I would really, I think that if you do what you really want to do in your heart and soul, I mean, and just follow through with it, you know, I don't think you should say to yourself, I want to become a star, whether I become a star athlete, singer, actor, dancer. just do what you like to do. And, you know, I mean, it'll have its own rewards in the end, you know. And, you know, because I was doing TV commercials for a while, and I started doing well and everything and getting a lot of roles, but, you know, I said to myself, wait a minute, it's taking away from the time I should be putting into my music. And even though I don't have a record deal yet or whatever, you know, that's where my heart really is. And
But the bottom line was that those TV commercials helped pay for a lot
for the studio.
of the studio and the equipment, so that
Yeah.
as the story goes, she would cut out the little ads for the commercial auditions and come and put them on the refrigerator,
Right.
put them so that you could find them. Did that really? Seriously?
Please take me, circled in red, you know, that kind of thing.
But that's a lot of work for Mom.
Sure it is.
Yeah, and I mean,
back and forth and back and forth.
I always knew that they would take me, so it was a kind of like a, you know.
How has the success changed your life?
Let's see, just pretty much it's made me busier, and you know, there are certain sacrifices to be made, but
Privacy being one, I'm sure.
Yeah, I mean, but I really think that if you keep everything in perspective and if you focus on, you know, still having the same friends, going to normal school,
You go to public
you
school
can control
still.
it. I go to the same high school I've always gone to.
You take
and
out
I've
the
got
garbage?
the same friends. No, Dad always
does
took
the
out
dishes.
the garbage.
She
I
does
do
the
the
dishes?
And we still fight over her room, so.
What's your biggest fear about Debbie's success now?
I don't really have a fear because she's very well directed. You know, a child can go wrong in any industry. You know, you could have them go sour if they were a secretary. You know, if they're going to be bad, they're going to be bad. Or if they're going to get hoodwinked, they're going to get hoodwinked.
But she's learned her craft so well that she really can make her own career choices.
very
Armed to
secure.
the teeth with knowledge.
You bet. That's good. That's a good way to be. Debbie, it's really a pleasure to meet you, and I think a lot of people watching, both parents and children today, can really learn a wonderful lesson from you and your family. Wonderful, wonderful support behind